I have been thinking a lot about how I should be living, how to be a good person. I try to have a positive impact on people I interact with, to be honest and value-driven, and I almost always return the trolley to the trolley bay when shopping. I don't always manage. There are days where I say or do things that upset or hurt people, or I leave the trolley in the middle of the car park. But I try to do good. My kids have started expressing concern about the state of the world, and who can blame them? They are worried about the impact we're having on the planet, and worried about the injustice they see in the world. They are trying to deal with all that they hear about the climate crisis and animal welfare in the food industry, or the exploitation of workers who create the cheap products we buy. The other day, my youngest came home and said to me,
"I want to be the nicest person in the world."
I'm embarrassed to say that my response was offhanded, something like, "Well, that's nice, you do that," and I just went back to watching my TV show. But they were keen to make a difference and started making signs calling for more justice, better animal welfare and better environmental protection. They put up these signs in front of our house and stood outside hoping to interact with people to try to encourage positive change. But no one stopped or even paid them any attention. Watching this reminded me of my younger self. I wanted to make the world a better place, and when I expressed this, I felt that I wasn't taken seriously. It was maybe seen as childish and cute or naive, and on the few occasions where it was even heard, I was told to strive for position of power to make the changes, maybe become a politician, or possibly an inventor. Or I was told to make small incremental changes to how I live, switching off the light and turning down the thermostat, but I never really understood or saw how this would change the world. I am now asking myself, what do I tell my children? The message I was given? Go to school, get a job, just tell them to follow the system? I didn't know what else to do, so I followed the system. And the system worked well for me. With minimal effort or motivation, I did okay. I had some great jobs. Some jobs I really loved, and some I really felt I was making a difference. I was making the world a better, fairer place. But even they seemed to me to be part of a wider system which is not making things better. A wider system exploiting nature and people for benefits enjoyed by few, but I don't know how to get out. Or maybe I'm just too scared to. Either way, I feel trapped. I have thought about dropping out, but this doesn't seem to me to be a solution. There are almost 8 billion people on Earth, and the majority live in urban areas. There isn't room for everyone to go off-grid or drop out. This is no more of a solution than suggesting we return to being hunter-gatherers. We need models that promote good and civilized societies that are sustainable for the whole global population. It seems to me that this is entirely possible. We produce enough that we could give everyone on Earth a basic dignity of life, food and shelter and clothing, while also rewilding the land and sea if we just distributed resources sensibly. Yet globally, we throw out about 1.3 billion tons of food a year. That is a third of all the food that we grow. We have had the know-how and technology that would allow us to live like this for a long time. Energy production isn't the issue. We could create enough clean energy for all of humanity's needs, either green sources such as solar, wind, or hydro, or near-future technologies such as fusion or deep geothermal energy. Sure, there needs to be a change in how we produce and consume energy. We are still very wasteful, but energy isn't what is holding us back. It is clear that we don't have resource or technological issues. We have distribution issues. The current systems are failing to distribute appropriately. The world could support the population in such a way that is sustainable for future generations. If the issues are in these systems, well, then what are these systems? How do they change, and what influence can we have on them? This seems to me to be the foundation to answering the question of how to be a good person. Really understanding what systems are, how they function, and how they are created and maintained. When looking at the systems that influence what we as a species do, there are only 3 things that drive all of our actions. 1. The physical environment, the whole cosmic system of matter and energy of which Earth and the human race are but subsystems. 2. The ego self. This is the conscious experience of being. The self is the content of a model that is created by our brain. It's an internal image. Our experience of being is a virtual self in a virtual reality. 3. The social constructs or myths. This is what creates the shared virtual realities that let Homo sapiens be the most cooperative species on the planet, outperforming ants, hyenas, and even the naked mole rat when it comes to living alongside strangers. It is from the interplay of these three elements that emerges all the complexities of our lives. The social systems that rule our lives are the external manifestations of thinking patterns, both individual and cultural. If our collective thinking changes, the systems change. That is how the world changes. I am planning on making a series of 6 episodes exploring these ideas to see what understanding the nature of reality, of the ego self, and of myths can do to help us create systems which promote good and civilized outcomes which can be sustained for generations to come. I hope that this will help my children in achieving their goals of making the world a better place and give me guidance on how I should be living. Please like and subscribe and let me know if you think there's something worth exploring here. Cooperation has always been central to our success as a species, and it is the only way to make things just and fair.